guys are jerks. Wow, those guys are jerks.
Welcome to Davey Dave's Take. Today we're talking about Inside Out 2, the sequel to one of the best Pixar films ever made. So Inside Out 2 takes place a few years after the first film, and Riley is dealing with the one thing everyone has to deal with where their emotions are just all over the place: puberty. So I went this film a little cautiously because I absolutely love the first film. I think not only is it one of the best Pixar films, it's one of the best animated movies ever. And I will die on the hill that it is the most creative film that Pixar's ever made. I just think it's perfect. The first film is just genius. The little details they thought of, the things that they do to make the film fun, but also have this beautiful message. So yes, when I heard they're making a sequel, I felt like there was a lot of room to make a sequel, but I always go in cautiously when they make sequels to some things that I love. But with Pixar, they normally do a good job with their sequels. And it felt like Inside Out was just that special film that needed that special care. And I'm relieved and happy to tell you that I was actually blown away by Inside Out 2, and this is one of the best sequels Pixar's ever made. I think the only two sequels that are better than Inside Out 2 are Toy Story 2 and 3, and those movies are also just perfect. I mean, the team behind these films, these Pixar films that are top tier in quality and deliver these beautiful messages, just need a raise or all the awards in the world, because this film, like the first one, is just genius, it's creative, and it's beautiful. Since Riley's going through puberty, there are new emotions introduced into this film, and they are great. They're a lot of fun, they're funny, but they have their purpose. In the first film, Riley is dealing with depression, and in this film, she is dealing with anxiety, and she is the star of this film. Maya Hawke voices anxiety, and she does an absolutely amazing job here. I think it's the best voice performance of the film, and there's real meaning here. There's this wonderful, beautiful message that I'm not going to spoil because I want you guys to experience it, but it has to do with anxiety, and everyone deals with it. And these filmmakers and Pixar and Disney, they just find these really wonderful ways to express that, while at the same time tying it all together into a very fun, colorful, beautiful looking movie that's just a blast. This film is extremely fast-paced, maybe the most fast-paced film of the year. Right when it starts, it does not stop, because it's filled with all these new characters, but also at the same time are characters that we know from the original film are going on their adventure, and we're seeing all these just really fun ideas presented to us that really make you think about how we think as people and why we feel certain ways. It really feels like we're expanding this world that we got in the first film, and like I said, it just does not let up. It is just non-stop fun. What I really like about the original characters in Inside Out 2 is it feels like they've really learned those lessons from the original film. They don't feel like the same characters from the first film. They feel like they're a little bit more mature, like they've seen more things and they understand more things. And I said earlier, this film is centered around anxiety, and it really is. There's so many moments in this film where I was just kind of clenching up into my seat. My anxiety was kicking in, and the filmmakers really know how to make that really effective. It's really intense, and by the third act, they do something that I really appreciated and loved. And it made this film feel like the most mature Pixar film, maybe only behind the original Inside Out or Soul, but it's up there. It's in that same tier. It was just nice to see these filmmakers understood the message that they're trying to tell the audience. They're not sugarcoating the harsh realities of growing up. And there's one scene in particular with anxiety that I thought was actually pretty frightening, but it was extremely effective, which makes me feel like this film is honestly targeted more towards adults. Yes, you can say that about a lot of Pixar films, but this is one that really feels like kids can have fun with, but they're not going to totally understand what this film is trying to say. And that's why I feel like adults are really going to love Inside Out 2 and really appreciate it. I just really appreciate when a film takes the smart route and understands what it needs to be and makes this really effective experience. While I don't think it's as good as the original because it doesn't hit some of the emotional heights the original does, I think this comes extremely close. And that's really something to say because I think the first film is one of the more emotional Pixar films, and Inside Out 2 is definitely up there. The only issues I have with this film is sometimes in the middle it drags, and some of the new emotions are kind of pushed to the side. But honestly, the film overall just feels extremely effective at what it's trying to say. So I definitely think you should experience this film. The animation is incredible. It's super creative. The message is very important, emotional, and beautiful, just like the first film. This is one of the best sequels Pixar's ever made, and I think this is one of the most mature films they've ever made. I'm going to give Inside Out 2 9 Davey Daves. I think this is going to be a hit that theaters probably need right now. We'll have a pretty good opening weekend, but I just feel like people are going to definitely go see this and see it again and again and again. So, Inside Out 2, let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear, and thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Davey Dave's Takes.